In today's video, we are going to learn about the Python tokens. Well, Python tokens are basically the smallest meaningful component or smallest meaningful concept of the program language. Smallest meaningful component is basically the tokens. Now, there are some type of tokens in the Python programming language like keywords, identifiers, literals, and operators. At first, we are going to talk about the keywords. Keywords are special reserved words in the Python programming language like false, none, true, and, as, class, continue, def, del, elif, finally, for, from, global, if, is, lambda, non-local, not, or, return, try, while, with, yield. So these are the special reserved words in the Python programming language, and these are the words which we known as keywords. Keywords can't be used as name of the variables or function or class. You can't use this keyword as a name of a variable. Suppose if I want to actually, so suppose if I want to take any of the keyword and I want to do this, suppose I want to take the keyword true and I want to assign the true as a function or as a variable. So suppose if I use true as variable as a name of a variable and I want to pass any data in true. Suppose I want to pass hello world. This is some string that I want to pass in the variable. And if I try to run this, you can see that it will show me a error because true, you cannot assign it to true. It is saying that it is a syntax error. That means you cannot assign any data or any value to true because true is a keyword. In the true words, I mean the keywords can't be actually assigned as the name of the variables. You can use the keywords, but you cannot use the keyword as the name of the variables. So that is a very important lesson. And you can see that whatever is the keyword, if I type any of the keyword like as, it will be converted into a green color. So that is a symptom that if any of the words are getting converted into green color, that means that word is a keyword. That is another way to identify the keywords. So what is the first criteria that you have learned about the keywords? That keywords are not supposed to be assigned as the name of the variables. That is the first thing that we learned about the keywords. All of these are keywords. Finally, is, return. Suppose if I try it with return, and if I store any variable in return, suppose return is a variable, name of a variable, and I want to store 12 in return, and if I want to run this, then as you can see, whenever I try to run this, let me see, it will not be operated or it will not be compiled because return is obviously it is not a it is a keyword, and keyword are not supposed to be assigned as the name of the variables. Next, the next type of identifiers. It is the next type of Python token. Identifiers are basically the names that you use for the variables, functions, or object. So suppose I am using, let me remove it all. And suppose I am using Rachin. And I am using Rachin equals to, and I am giving, I am a player from New Zealand. So here Rachin is a variable and I have passed a string in the Rachin variable, that is I am a player from New Zealand. Now basically here if I try to run this at first, let me run it. And if I call Rachin again, the variable Rachin, then you will see that I am a player from New Zealand, which was the string that was actually given to the variable Rachin, which will be printed. So basically this Rachin The name of the variable, it is the identifier in the Python programming language. Identifiers are basically the names of the variables or names of the function or object. So this is a very easy thing. But there are some rules in case of identifiers, or in case of the name that we are assigning to the variable. There are some rules that we have to follow. What are those rules? No special character except underscore. If you assign any special character to the identifier or to the name of the variable, then that will obviously show you an error. Suppose if I add um, Rachin, and if I give underscore, suppose, or dollar sign, and if I want to give the same thing again here, that I am a player from New Zealand, and if I run this Rachin dollar or Rachin S, if I run this Rachin dollar sign, you will see that what happens here actually, it will show me a error. It will show me an error because Rachin dollar, I have used this dollar sign here, and dollar sign is a special character. You are not supposed to use any special character in the name of the variable or in the identifier. If you are actually using any special character in the name of the variable or in the identifier, then that will show you an error. So no special characters are supposed to be used in the name of the variables or in the identifiers. Similarly, the second rule that is very important is identifiers are case sensitive. That means, suppose this is Rachin, and sorry. Now, if I use this and if I remove this, if I give this Rachin, if I call this variable and I use small r, I am not using capital R, I am using small r, then it will not actually give me I am a player from New Zealand or the string that was stored in Rachin, because that variable was actually consisting of capital R, starting from capital R. The Rachin, that variable was starting from capital R, but this variable is actually starting from small r. So small r and capital R being differentiated by the identifiers. Small r and capital R are not the same things. So that's why these are basically two different variables. Pronunciation is same, both are Rachin, but this is having capital R and this is having small r. So both of these variables are different. So that means identifiers are case sensitive. If you change the case to uppercase, that which was in the first case, that R was in uppercase, but in the second case R was in lowercase. So both are actually different variables. So when you are using the identifiers, you have to be very much cautious about the case that you are using. If you change the case from upper to lower, then the previous upper variable or the previous variable that was consisting uppercase, which will not be shown. Similarly, the last thing is that first letter can't be a digit. That is also another rule that you have to follow in case of using the literals. That if I give this first letter as suppose 1, and if I try to run this, it will show me an error. Let me run this code and then you can easily understand this. It is showing an error. Sorry, if I run this one Rachin and if I try to run this, and you can easily understand, it will show me an error because the first letter can't be a number or can't be a digit. If you are using the first letter as a number and assigning it a name of a variable or assigning it as a literal, then you are doing a mistake and it will show you an error. That is the thing. The next is literals. Literals are basically the constants. Literals are constants mean whatever we are assigning to the variable, or whatever your value or whatever data we are assigning to the variable or passing to the variable, that are constant. You can't change it. Okay, so suppose I am assigning hello world to A, right? Suppose I am assigning hello world to A, And once I have printed it, once I have actually printed the a, and whenever I have run this a, let me show it. I think there is a mistake here that we are making. So if I run this now, it is giving me hello world back. Now I can change this value, or I can change this data that was passed in the variable a. I can't change this hello world. So that's what we mean by saying literals. So literals are basically the constant, that is the value that we have assigned to the variable, and it can't be changed. So this was it for the today's video. In today's video you have discussed about literals and the keywords, and we have also discussed about the identifiers. These are the some basic tokens of the Python programming language that we have discussed in today's video.